Hi, my name is Jeff Watts, and I'd like to welcome you to a exciting new introduction to the Watts Atelier online art education program. And this is going to mirror the traditional program that we've had for the past 22 years. And my goal is to lay down all these components. So right now I want to talk a little bit about phase one portrait painting. And in phase one, we're going to be visiting monochromatic palettes. We're going to do burnt umber, pick out. We're going to do burnt umber in white, and we're going to do phthalo blue, black, and white. And we're going to do that for all of our phase one disciplines: still life, landscape, portrait, figure. So what I want to do is we're going to use photos of casts, right? Because we obviously, there's no way to really get you to have this exact cast. It would be very difficult. But you'll benefit just as much from the photos, I'm almost positive, as you would actually working from live casts. But anyway, this is a pick out of a cast in profile. And we're going to do a 3/4 straight on profile of both casts, skulls, and Asaro head. So that's your cast example. And then we're going to move into doing, this example is 3/4 burnt umber in white. And here you can see the tiles are left in. It's a very, very interesting, little skull painting. But you're trying to familiarize yourself with the actual components of the skull so that you can commit them to memory. You're going to do that through drawing in some phases of the drawing, and you're also going to do it in painting. And we're going to use these to exhaust the limited palettes and get very familiar with them before we venture into color. This one is a phthalo blue, black, and white example of an Asaro head. John Asaro, good friend of mine. Great head. We're going to talk more about that at length as we get into drawing and painting of this particular head. Very important that you commit these to memory over time. So what we're going to do in this phase is use monochromes as a way of getting familiar with these different disciplines: cast painting, painting from skulls, and painting from the Asaro head. And we're going to do 3/4 straight on in profile of each one of those using these different methods. You can then use these other methods to do versions of the other from the other photographs if you want, and I would highly recommend that. So anyway, we're going to go right into showing you some clips of this phase. I hope it's enticing enough and exciting enough to get you engaged, and hopefully we'll see you in the actual program. But I will walk you through all these. There's going to be workbooks along with them. It's going to be a step-by-step process, so you'll be in good hands, and it's going to be a lot to learn. So hope to see you soon. Take care.
They have to be careful as well. Both artists have to play within certain rules and have a tough job in front of them. So, what's harder, loose painting, tight painting? It's really hard to say. I personally think that high-end loose indication painting is harder because you have to have a greater knowledge base and more of an opinion of what you're trying to do. And sometimes the high-end rendering stuff is more how much patience do you have with sitting and rendering edges and values and shapes to the nth degree, and how realistic can you make it. And I don't think, again, I'm not here to really pick sides or to be negative about it, but I like both of them when done well, or when done at a virtuoso level. But that's my personal take on it. A little hot spot running down the nose. Notice I prepared a little alleyway for it, and I don't just put in a pinstriping highlight. That's one of the ugliest, most crude ways that you can do something. You want to allow the highlight to expand and contract. I've had lawyers, doctors, you name it, and a lot of them have said this is the hardest thing they've ever had to learn to do, drawing and painting at a high level. It is off the Richter scale, complex. But we can dispel a lot of that mystery by simplifying these concepts down and teaching them in articulate means, which will help to dispel some of that difficulty that a lot of people find with it. A lot of complicated bevels on the mandible, the ramus and the area here of the actual mandible. You've got these bevels and cuts and curves, which a lot of muscles will be attaching onto, and they're very complex little guys. So you got to kind of keep your wits about you when you're doing these little spinning it, loading, get it well loaded up, and then I'm going to go in and just drop it off. So let me just drop off a little tone there, drop off a lighter tone there. Let's drop off a lighter tone, a little lighter tone up where the lower lid inserts around there. Let's do that a little bit. Okay. There, drop off a little in there. Let's go back and load it back up again. Let's look around and let's see that there's a little lighter passage here on the side wing of the nostril here.